We are entering the season of love. This series is for those who want to use this season of love to build up a relationship with themselves. These are the chapters for today's video, and let's get right into it. In order for us to build a strong self-love foundation, first we need to deal with past rejection. A lot of us have dealt with past rejection that we tend to carry on in every single aspect of our lives. From crushes, parents, friends, we carry it on into all these different aspects of our lives because we view that rejection as a rejection of self. And sometimes it was, because people can be cruel sometimes. But you choosing not to live your life in a way that a person who loves themselves would is so unfair to you. We'll be going through all these different stages of life, and because of certain areas of rejection or just being dismissed or not feeling worthy or having low self-esteem, we will start having that critical voice in our head that always has something to say to put us down, that always has something to say to pick ourselves apart. It's always negative, but we always accept it. We're always like, you know what, yeah, I'm not enough. We look at that voice as our own voice, but it's not yours. It isn't even your own opinion. The voice that you're hearing isn't even your own opinion. You are hearing the voice of the person that hurt you the most or that hurt you repeatedly. It has been intensified in your head, but it's not yours. I know some girls who I used to be friends with when I was younger who never really got complimented by their moms. Their moms were really hard on them, and because they were never complimented by their moms and because the moms were really hard on them, they struggled to love themselves because they only saw the things that were wrong with them or the things that they had to fix, because apparently those were the only things worth noticing to somebody who played a big role in that environment. If you fit that kind of situation, if that experience really speaks to you, it absolutely did damage to the way that you saw yourself, but it does not have to be the future. Because the only reason why that person's voice is so resounding in your head, why that person still has a space in your head, is because you let them in, which means that you have power. You are not powerless. You still have control over your perception. You still have control over your mind, your self-love journey, and all of these things. You just temporarily gave it away, but that's okay. That means we can get it back. If you want to build that strong self-love foundation, understand that the fear of being unlovable is irrational. You are completely surrounded by 8 billion people who are not monoliths. They are all different, have different opinions, have different character traits, have different appearances. Everything is different, and they will still find somebody to love. Let me give you an example. Let's talk about animals. Octopus, let's talk about them. Some people hate octopi. Some people hate the idea of an octopus. Others, they don't love them, but they'd rather, it's a love from afar. They would never want to be in contact with one, but they're okay with their existence. Other people like them. Other people like octopi. They're nice. I like them. They're a great animal. And then there are others who love octopi, and others who dedicate their life to the study of octopi. Do you see how massive the range is? Over one animal, you have a group that hate them, don't mind them, like them, love them, and are devoted to them. That means with every single person, there is going to be that same range. A group of people that hate them, don't mind them, like them, love them. There are people out there for you that like you and love you. You need to find them. But they do exist. There are people out there that will root for you. There are people out there that will love you down, but you need to find yourself someone worth rooting for. If you don't agree to accept it, you won't embark on the journey to start finding people who love you like you love yourself. And this is because you won't be able to properly love them back. You can only love someone as much as you love yourself. You can only meet someone as far as you have met yourself. When you start to love yourself, when you start to be enamored with yourself, you will be less and less pessimistic, not only about your life and yourself, but about the world around you. It was so much easier to romanticize my life when I started to fall in love with myself. It was so much more easier to view my future in such a positive lens when I looked at myself in a positive lens. A mindset shift took place. A mindset shift from I have to work to be deserving of this to I deserve this, I love this. So now we're on to the next chapter of this video, and now we're going to talk about the steps that we are going to take to build a strong self-love foundation. So there's 4 steps to this. There's 4 steps to building this foundation. There are 4 bricks that you need to place down. I'm going to go through each and every single one. So brick number 1 is recognizing. Who are you? What are you good at? What are you bad at? What do you find difficult? What do you spend a lot of time thinking about? What are your quirks? What do you like to do? The focus point here and the most important part here is, who am I? What do I like? Not what have others said that I am good at? What have others said that I like? What do others perceive me as? No, they're not the focus of this. You are the focus of this. A lot of people don't build a strong self-love foundation because they don't sit and spend enough time with themselves to actually think about who they are. Instead, they rely on others to tell them who they are. You're relying on other people for their validation. You're the one that lives with yourself the most. You're the one that has gone through all these experiences to form the way that you think. And so you would understand yourself the most, yet you're relying on other people to tell you that. The first step is that you need to understand who you are. Once you start sitting there and actually thinking about all these things, once you start going through all of them, you will build that trust with yourself. So you will start to trust yourself, which is so important in this whole self-love thing. You won't love yourself if you don't trust yourself. You won't listen to your intuition. You won't listen to the way that you think. We're looking at ourselves holistically. We're not going to just ignore the bad parts. No, we're going to focus on all of it. We're going to recognize it all. If you are somebody that doesn't spend a lot of time with themselves, if you are somebody that has never really sat down and thought about what they like, what they don't like, all of these kinds of stuff, you might be asking yourself these questions and you might come up completely blank, but that's okay. You might experience frustration because of that, but that's okay. Embrace the frustration, but know that the answer is going to come at some point. Take your time with it. As you experience the next few days, weeks, months, you will be more and more intentional with paying attention to yourself. And you'll start to have these random thoughts come in your head whilst you're doing something, just like, oh wait, I'm actually really good at talking to people. I like spending time by myself, actually. Or I'm not really good at dealing with conflict. I really like the color purple. Be patient in dealing with yourself. Love is patient. So be patient with yourself, especially in the season of love. So the next brick that we're going to place in the self-love foundation is accepting. The truth to self-love is not self-development. It's self-acceptance. That doesn't mean that you're like, every part of me is perfect and I do not need to change at all. I don't need to change at all. I'm 100% perfect. That's not what self-acceptance is. Because the truth is that you will need to grow in certain aspects of yourself and in certain areas of your life in order for you to become the best version of yourself. But that is not a condition of love. The fact that you need to grow or the fact that you need to change a little bit is not a condition of love. What does that mean? That means that you do not need to work on this thing to finally love yourself. You do not need to fix this thing to finally love yourself. It's not a condition of love. The love should be first. And this means recognizing all your traits, all your quirks, all your likes, all your dislikes, and accepting all of them. It's so important not to label ourselves through our traits and characteristics. What does this mean? This means stop making your traits and your characteristics your personality trait. That sounds a little bit convoluted. Let's break it down. The reason why you need to stop doing this is because once you recognize a bad trait in yourself, which we all have, it becomes so easy to demonize ourselves because we view ourselves through our traits. You start to view yourself like a bad person because of this trait instead of a person that does bad sometimes. You do not have to be perfect to be deserving and worthy of love and respect. I would absolutely be the person that roots for themselves all the time, that talks about themselves all the time, that believes in themselves, even to a point that is near delusional, than be the person that is constantly preying on my own downfall because I feel like I don't deserve compassion, because I feel like I don't deserve love, or I feel like I'm not worthy of respect. Why are you the most contributing member of your hate club? You have a hate club, a group of 1, and it's you. Isn't that more embarrassing than just being somebody that actually roots for themselves? Make that switch. Be the person that is obnoxiously self-loving. Be the person that is obnoxiously always rooting for themselves. You're somebody that tends to get overexcited sometimes. That's okay. You're somebody that tends to get really loud sometimes. That's okay. You're somebody that is really, really quiet. And that's okay. It's all okay. And that is all what the accepting brick of the self-love foundation has to do with. Okay, so the next brick that we're going to place down is the appreciating brick, appreciating brick. Personally, I think this is the most important step, and I can't wait for all of us to get into this. This is when you see the personal value that you bring to this world and recognize the value that you bring into your own life. This is the step where you start to celebrate yourself. The first two are a little bit more grueling, introspective. You start to realize things that might make you sad, annoyed, angry, whatever. But once you get to this step, it is literally upwards from here. I don't care if you think it's frowned upon to celebrate yourself, or if you think that there is nothing worth celebrating, because that's simply not true. If you believe in an uncreated creator, which is God, this also means that somebody formed you. And so what that means is somebody literally made you, said, this child actually needs to be on this earth. She has something that will bring value to her life and the lives of others and will impact this world in a positive way. Everything about you, your quirks, your traits, the way that you think, the way that you look, all of it is intentional and all of it is necessary and required. And because all of it is necessary and required, and because somebody literally looked at that and said, I need this masterpiece on my earth, you have the right to celebrate yourself and everything that you do. And so the last step of building this self-love foundation is growing. This stage is incredibly passive, but it's active at the same time. The growing stage of building a strong self-love foundation is being conscious of the fact that you will continue to grow. Self-love is not a destination point because you will continue to change in life. You will continue to change in life as you experience the things that you do, as you learn the things that you learn. You will start to come into contact with things that align with you. And when you come into contact with things that align with you more, you will start to reject the parts of you that no longer align with you, no longer serve you. You're constantly in progress. You're constantly in progress. And that is why self-love is not a destination, but is an overarching theme in this whole process, in this whole journey. And it's so important that as you come into contact with things that align with you more, and as you choose to reject certain things that no longer serve you, that you maintain autonomy in this whole thing. And so that means that no one else can decide for you what no longer aligns with you or what does align with you. You need to take control of that process yourself. And so you need to decide yourself, do I like this? Does this fit with me? Do I want to keep this? I don't want to keep this. This is all you. Self-love is an overarching theme in this whole process, but that means that we need to interact with it daily. We need to engage with it daily. It's like a muscle. It's something that we need to build. It's something that we need to train every single day in order for it to become stronger and in order for it to be healthy. And this is so much more important in the tough days, just as much as the easy days. You don't stop watering a flower or a plant because they don't stop growing. They only stop growing if you stop watering them. And eventually, if you stop watering them long enough, they die. Don't let the flower die. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap on today's step-by-step guide to building a strong self-love foundation. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Days of Galentines. I hope you're feeling inspired to love yourself today, tomorrow, and forever. Please tune in to all the rest of the episodes that will be released on this series. And also, if you don't have the time to watch it, this is also available on podcast. This is my first podcast series, so go ahead and check it out. The link will be in the description. Follow all my social media, they will be linked in the description. So like this video. If you like this video and are intrigued for the rest of the series, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss when I post. Anything you want to comment, I do read all of my comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.